Hello, student. Today we will learn and discuss about the traditional and modern linguistic concept of style and stylistics. So, in dictionary, it terms define style as the characteristics, manner of expression in prose or verse, how a particular writer say a thing. The analysis and assessment of style involves in examination of a writer word choice of words and his figure of speech and devices, rhetorical or otherwise, and the shape of his sentences and the shape of his paragraph, indeed of every conceivable object of his language and the way in which he uses. So it defies complete analysis or definition, and it is the tone and voice of a writer himself, as peculiar to him as his laugh, his work, his handwriting, and the expression on his face. So when we discuss about the traditional concept, it is has been object of studies. Aristotle, Cicero, and Demetrius treated style as the proper adornment of thought. And in this view, which prevailed throughout Resina, devices of style can be classified. An essayist or orator is expected to frame his ideas with help of model sentences and prescribe kind of figures suitable to his mode of discourse. So it is this theory emphasizes the relation between style and linguistic, as does the theory of Edward Sapir, who talked about literature that is form based, and Virgil, and much of Latin literature, and the literature that is content based, Homer, Plato, Dante, William Shakespeare, and the near untranslatability of the former. So the traditional idea of style is something probably added to thoughts, contrast with ideas that derive from Charles Bailey and Swiss philologist and critic. So, according to follower of these thinkers, style in language arises from the possibility of choice among alternative forms of expression, like between children, kids, how you portray the subject. So, it is also seen as a mark of character, and style is the man himself in a discourse. Solely, style suggests that no matter how calculating choice may be made, a writer's style will be a mark of his personality. So the traditional literary critic attitude towards style is subjective and unscientific, and it considers a writer intuitive insight into aesthetic. And this concept of style is essentially ambiguous because the reader may or may not share the writer and critic the level and the delicacy of intuitive perception. So it is therefore undemocratic and imperialistic in its nature, and style is a writer individual mode of expression. So, in modern concept, 20th century on stylistic, particularly in Britain by scholars such as Roger Fowler, looked into relationship between social and contextual and formal linguistic analysis. Therefore, were also attempts to interrogate the logical assumption and underlying stylistics. So, modern stylistics use a tool of formal linguistic analysis coupled with the method of literary criticism. Its goal is to try to isolate characteristics using the functions of language and rhetoric rather than advanced normative or perceptive rules and patterns. So, published as Linguistic and Poetics in 16, Jacobson's lecture is often credited with being the first coherent formulation of stylistics, and his argument was that the study of poetic language should be a sub branch of linguistics. So, Michael Halliday is an important figure in the development of British stylistics. In 1971, studied linguistic function on literary style, an inquiry into the language of William Golding. The Inheritance is the key essay of the Halliday contribution has been used for the term to register to explain the connection between language and its context. So, this term register is a distinct from dialect. Dialect refers to the habitual language of a particular user in a specific geographical and a social context, whereas register describes the choices made by the user. Choices depend on three variables: field, tenor, and mode. Field, what participant are actually engaged in doing, and tenor, who is taking part in the exchange, and mode, to which use to which language is being put. So comments different field produce different language, most obviously at the level of vocabulary. So the third category's mode is what refers to as symbolic organization of the situation, recognizes two distinct aspects within the category of mode and suggests that not only it describes relation to the medium written but also describes the genre of the text. So Halliday refers genre as the pre-coded language that was not simply being used before, but that predetermines the selection of textual meaning. And the linguistic William Denos made the point that the principal characteristic of register, no matter how peculiar or diverse, it is obvious that immediately recognizable. So, linguistic approach to style, linguistic studies language scientifically, its style in an impersonal and objective manner, and defines studies as analysis style objectively and technically applying methodology of linguistic. And literary literature was traditionally appreciated not technically and critic dependent on a superior vision and arbitrary good taste of the reader. Stylistic, on the other hand, evaluates the literary text precisely. So, and descriptive linguistic gives stylistic analysis of a text phonological, syntactic, and semantic level of linguistic description. Stylistics use his own meta language and terminology to analyze a text and to analyze its term and structure. The communicative power of these isolated linguistic items and structure is evaluated objectively. So Rifare has well put the role of function of stylistic. Another author encoding is permanent, but the process of decoding changes as the language changes in the course of time. So stylistic should encompass simultaneous permanence of change. So his definition of style is more enlightening. Also suggests function of stylistic as style is means by which encoder ensures that his message is decoded in such a way that the reader not only understand the information conveyed but share the right attitude towards it. According to Hutchison, linguistic analysis of linguistic and literary language is known stylistic. The word style is a quite somehow specialized, narrow use of linguistic applied to literature. John Lyons defines stylistic as the study of stylistic variation in language and why in which this is exploited by their users. So there are these are the concept shared in discipline that studies in a way language is used. It is a discipline that studies language in a use. Second concept branch of linguistic which applies the theory of methodology and modern linguistic to the study of science. And the definition is a branch of linguistic which studies style in a scientific and systematic way concerning the manner, linguistic features, and different varieties of language at different levels. And the scope is literary and general. Literary is concentrating on the unique features of various literary works such as poem, novels, and prose and drama. And in general, concentrating on general features like types of language, including literary discourses and other practical styles. So, stylistic is a broad term that assumes different meaning from different linguistic scholars, but it can't simply said to be the study of style. Style has its own defined by Lucas as effective use of language, especially in prose, whether to make statement or rouse emotion, and involves first of all power to put a fact with clarity and brevity. And this is another definition mentioned by Leach and Aristotle that the most effective means of achieving both clarity and diction and a certain dignity is use of altered form of words. So it is also defined as a study of different style present in either in a given utterance of a written text or document. So the consistent appearance of certain structure item and elements in the speech and utterance on given text is one of the major concern in stylistics. A linguistic stylistic study is concerned with the varieties of language and the exploration of some of the formal linguistic features which characterize them, and the essence is useful of a stylistic that is enabled for immediate understanding of utterance and text, thereby maximizing our enjoyment of the text. So it deals with a wide range of language varieties and style that are possible in creating different text, whether spoken or written, monologue or dialogue, informal, formal, scientific or religious, etc. It depends. Again, the stylistic is concerned with the study of language, of literature, or study of language in habit of particular author and their writing pattern. From the foregoing, stylistic can be sent to be the techniques of explanation which allows us to define objectively what an author has done on the base of linguistic and non-linguistic in his use of language. So the main of aim of stylistic is to enable us to understand the intent of the author in the manner the information has been passed across by the author or writer. So, therefore, it is concerned with the examination of grammar, lexis, semantic, as well as the phonological properties and discursive devices. And it is more interested in the significance of function that the chosen style fulfills. So, I hope you liked my notes and this lecture. And if you like it, so do comment in the comment box if you want further on some notes, and please like and share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.